Elizabeth just said, did that happen?
First time I can remember talking beans right at the top.
Absolutely.
Just, they did.
Right.
Meanwhile, there's no transition from beans to this. It was round 3 last night for the Republican presidential candidates in last night's debate. And right out of the gate, the candidates were asked what their biggest weakness was. Carly Fiorina had a perfect answer that went something like this.
After the last debate, I was told that I didn't smile enough.
Fixed it.
But I also think that these are very serious times. 75% of the American people think the federal government is corrupt. I agree with them.
Well, Mrs. Nice Guy didn't last too long as she then set her sights on Hillary Clinton. Watch.
I can assure you I'm Hillary Clinton's worst nightmare. And in your heart of hearts, you cannot wait to see a debate between Hillary Clinton and Carly Fiorina. I will tell you this. I will beat Hillary Clinton.
Wow. And Republican candidate Carly Fiorina joins us this morning. Carly Fiorina, thanks so much.
Good morning. How are you all?
Good. First off, your overall sense. What did you feel when you left the stage? How do you feel now about what you did last night?
Well, I feel very good. As you pointed out, it was kind of a crazy set of moderators with not the best questions in the world. But all in all, once again, it was an opportunity for Americans to take a look at me. I remain the least known candidate in the field. So every one of those debates, despite all their issues, are an opportunity.
Well, you did take the opportunity there to kind of clear the deck and say, I have my sights set on Hillary Clinton. I'm her worst nightmare. Hillary texts this. Seems to me 10 candidates, 0 new ideas. Did she miss yours?
Well, you know, Hillary Clinton has never met a progressive idea that she didn't like, and it's kind of a lame comment, honestly. But trust me, I am Hillary Clinton's worst nightmare.
Why?
Why? Because, you know, we had a little exchange last night, just as one example, about how women are faring in Barack Obama's economy, how Hillary Clinton's policies actually impact women, actually impact all the people that she claims to want to be helping. We talked about crony capitalism last night. Every policy that Hillary Clinton proposes makes crony capitalism worse. So, you know, women are faring badly under progressive policies. The number of women, just as one example, who are now living in extreme poverty is at the highest level ever recorded in this country. So Hillary Clinton can talk all day long about being the first woman president. The truth is her policies are bad for women and men and all the people she claims to be helping.
Mrs. Fiorina, you know, at the debates you prepare for hard questions, but it seemed to many observers that the questions weren't hard as they were mean, and once they would ask you a question, then they would argue with you. My question to you is, do you think at a Democratic debate they would ever treat Mrs. Clinton the way they treated the guys and you last night?
Of course not. Of course not. And that's why Ted Cruz, whose comment was absolutely right, that's why he got a rousing round of applause. And it's why the moderators got booed. I mean, I'm not quite sure I've ever seen that, but literally the moderators got booed by the audience. So, no, Democrats are not treated this way. Marco Rubio made an interesting point that, you know, Hillary Clinton's super PAC, she has plenty of them, by the way, but he said, well, it's also the liberal media, and all of the people that are trotted out to attack me are her cronies and her liberal media lapdogs.
Well, you got the most time in the debate, and each debate like this last one, you've always been strong. How do you sustain that strength? How do you keep the poll number strong? Because after the debate's down, you've come down a little bit as well.
You know, I always like to remind people that national polls at this stage in a race are not predictive. And in fact, if you looked at 2012 and 2008, the people who were leading in the national polls went on to lose resoundingly. Elections are won by voters, and voters are on the ground in places like Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, and Nevada, and Utah, all the places that I've been spending a lot of time on the ground. So We've been spending a lot of time with voters, a lot of time with the regional media that they pay a lot of attention to as well, and we're going to continue to do that.
Sure. Speaking of voters, we asked our viewers today, since the questions were so bad at the debate, that they could send in their better questions for you. Nigel emailing us this: exactly how are you going to reduce the tax code to 3 pages? You spoke last night about 60% of Americans making over a certain amount of money have to actually hire someone to just decode the tax plan for themselves when they're filing. So what's your plan? How do you reduce it to 3?
Well, first of all, why is it 73,000 pages? Because everyone has stuffed into this tax code special deductions and loopholes and breaks for special interests. That's why we've had over 4,000 adjustments to the tax code since 2001. Republicans and Democrats alike are guilty of this. So you have to start with a blueprint that says, you know what, we're going to lower every rate and we're going to close every loophole. Now, there are 4 loopholes, 4 deductions that actually matter: mortgage deduction, pension, charity, but it's not thousands of them. And so if you take the special interests out of this, you can, of course, simplify it to 3 pages. And guess what? If it's a 3-page tax code, you don't need so many IRS agents. Do you know that we employ more people at the IRS than we do at the FBI and the CIA combined? Think about that. We have more IRS agents than FBI and CIA agents. Wow. We need to simplify it, because if we don't, the big and the powerful are advantaged always over the small and the powerless.
You know, Mrs. Fiorina, I think there are a lot of people at home going, I'm with her. I'd love to see it 3 pages, love to see it simple, get rid of the loopholes. But it seems like every 4 years, the talk turns to taxes. We're going to fix it up. We're going to blow up the current tax code. But it never happens. How do you, as a president, make sure that it happens with your pals down the street on Capitol Hill?
Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. It never happens. That is my point. That is why I'm running for president, because I think we need the kind of leader now who understands what it takes to produce results, not just talk about it. We've been talking about this for decades, Republicans and Democrats alike. But I'm going to use the citizens of this nation, engage the citizens of this nation. So just as one example, let's take technology. I'm going to go into the Oval Office in the weekly radio address. I'm going to ask Americans to take out their smartphones. And I'm going to ask them, do you think we need to go from 73,000 pages that advantages the wealthy and the powerful and the well-connected and get it down to about 3 so that you don't need armies of lawyers and accountants? Press 1 for yes. Press 2 for no.
There's an
This
app.
Technology exists. Exactly. It's an existing app. But the point is that puts huge pressure on the political system. And politicians will respond to pressure. We know that. Technology is an incredible tool for democratization, for engaging citizens in the process of their government. And I'm going to use it. I talked last night a lot about citizenship. To right our country, to take our government back, will take leadership and citizenship.
Colleague Fiorina, thanks so much for joining us this morning after the 3rd debate. We did quite well. Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thank you all.